He loves this place that we call home, and one of the reasons why he is running for Congress. More on that coming up. He's good for 2 segments tonight because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to the mayor of Turtle Creek, Adam Forgie, about. And you can watch this interview stream live at the Metropolitan Window video screen by going to kdkradio.com and clicking on KDK Watch. Mayor, good evening. It's great to have you back on KDKA, sir.
Good evening, Rob. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
So people who are watching this stream live, I have in my hand today's Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So let me just pick it up midway through this article. It came as a surprise to executives at Nippon and U.S. Steel and to most other observers who have followed the imperiled $14.9 billion merger since it was announced in December of 2023. Nobody understands it, said West Mifflin Mayor Chris Kelly, who has hosted representatives of both companies at his home office, a stone's throw from U.S. Steel's Irvin Works. And as far as the news is concerned, on the stock market, U.S. Steel shares had climbed during the day in anticipation of Trump's comments, but at 2:25 on Friday, as the president spoke, they plunged and finished the day down nearly 6 percentage points. And I know if you would be elected to Congress, I wouldn't have to chase you down to talk about this. So talk to me, your feelings. And I know there's some hope there, and I heard you talk about that, but I still want to know the numbers, Mayor. I want to know the numbers.
Well, first off, I strongly support the merger, and I'm hoping that they can find a compromise that's going to either allow Nippon to own it, but it doesn't look like it's going that way. It looks like they're going to be allowed to make a major investment. We know today that President Trump enacted 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports. When I teach tariffs in my classrooms, I try to make it clear to the students that any tariff is a tax on the people, and which is going to have a ripple effect. It's a double-edged sword sometimes. President Trump tried a similar measure in 2018 that was meant to help workers, but it had some concerning unintended results. It could lead to things like stagnation, which combination of inflation and a stagnation and becoming stagflation, which is going to lead to higher inflation. You're going to have a low economic growth, possible unemployment. So he has to be very careful about his tariffs, as we've seen with Mexico, Canada, and now the whole world, because any steel importer is being tariffed, not specifically just one country. It is very, very important to me that we get this deal done for job stability, our own economic growth and revitalization in the 12th district. We are long overdue. We need bold action, not just empty promises or an absent representative that I feel. You mentioned Mayor Kelly's basement meetings that he had with the executives of Nippon and U.S. Steel. And my opponent was nowhere to be found. She just arrived now and is making comments.
You're talking about Summer Lee, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like her rhetoric that she is now saying, I noticed she was in the newspaper and on the local media, but again, it's too little too late. She should have been there right out the gate, because U.S. Steel is who we are. And if that folds, who knows what's going to happen in the Mon Valley, and we can't afford for that to happen again.
See, I just think, and this is my opinion, and I'm going to be talking to Rich Latanzi if he gets out of his council meeting tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and Mayor Jack Brown of Braddock Hills on Friday when I'm in for Marty Griffin. I can't stop talking about this story, and I know people may think it's redundant, but you're all affected by it. Every time I talk about it, you should be listening, because I don't care where you are within the sound of my voice. If you're from the tri-state, this story affects you. Big picture, it affects each and every one of you where you live. But here's how I look at it. The tariff thing, if that would ever go down, because they could make steel in this country and lots of it, we wouldn't have to face the tariffs, because it could be done right here with the buying power of Nippon Steel and modernizing this great place. Now, those tariffs could come and go with the next administration or whatever happens, because by the time the mill gets refurbished and we get going, all 3 of them in the Mon Valley, who knows how long that's going to take. But what worries me, how much are they going to invest if they don't really have a say so at the table? And if they have 49% of the stock as opposed to 51 in controlling stock, are they going to be willing to take us with them around the world when they do these big projects? All I'm saying is there's a reason why they're the 4th largest steelmaker in the world. This deal could make them the 3rd largest. And as they go, we go. I don't want a coat of paint, Mayor. I want the complete reverberation of the steel industry in the Mon Valley so that your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, if they so be it, they can go to work in those mills. That's why I still think Nippon and ownership is the best deal for everyone.
Agreed. I support policies that protect American jobs. It must be thought out, though, not reactionary. That I feel like maybe this deal may have been, because we really don't know the specifics of it too much. I do know that President Trump today said that any steel producer within the borders of our country will not have, obviously, a tariff put on it. I'm not sure if he said it wouldn't be taxed. I can't imagine that being the case. But if Nippon is going to be an investor in U.S. steel, technically, they're not going to be paying the tariff. They're going to be making money off the money they invested. So that's why I'm optimistic about this deal. I understand that the steelworkers have some concerns about it. I'm pro-union candidate, and I always will be. I was born and raised in a home that was very strong with the union. My grandfathers were both in union. I served as a union president for Woodland Hills Education Association. I just want to see working families have opportunities in the Mon Valley, and we have to do what we must, because the ripple effect, like you mentioned, is too much for us to bear that burden again from the 70s. I saw it in Turtle Creek growing up there when Westinghouse left. I mentioned this last time on your show. We've made some moves in Turtle Creek that are really helping. I played a role in helping to get the federal loan that EOS Energy was able to obtain, which is going to create 1,000 jobs in Turtle Creek. We haven't had that in 30 years. That type of leadership is what we need moving forward in the 12th district.
All right, I think I can do this all in one segment because you really led me exactly where I wanted to go to open up the next segment. So, talking about the progressive voice, the future, and how I think it's going to face a challenge, you recently talked about, recruiting young people to the Democratic Party. Mayor Walsh of Dormont was on with me after a really stirring article that he put in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that had massive ripple effects throughout his party and even the Republican Party. I think that this progressive success, and people like Summer Lee and Sarah Inamorata, who I have the utmost respect for, the mayor, are a part of that wave. I don't know if it's because the voice of the president or maybe just people leaning in on that style, but I think right now more than ever, people just want meat and potatoes. They want what you mean, what you say. If you're going to do it, get it done. I think that the progressives in this region are going to face a major challenge, not just from Democrats, but also Republicans. What do you say to that?
Well, I consider myself to be left of center, a moderate. I take it issue by issue. There isn't just a one cookie cutter answer for things. There's a lot of things that need to be considered. Our government was founded on compromise. And when you go into a meeting and you're unwilling to do so, or you make comments that are so divisive, you're not representing everybody. My campaign slogan is for all of us. For all of us. It has to be that way. Right now, I feel people feel that they're being slighted. They're not being represented because there's a personal agenda that's happening with the representative. I commend her character and how she stands forthright with her beliefs, but that's not what people want. And I firmly believe where I am, where I stand, more and more people are going to kind of assimilate and connect to what I believe in. Look, I really strongly feel our main investment needs to be in education in the area. We need to have programs like VEX, which is a program that's a STEAM and STEM education. We have it at Woodland Hills. It's preparing workers when they come out of high school to be able to compete in the manufacturing world. And it's another way of kids showing you what they understand. It's opening up their minds with new technologies. Look, we live in an area that has some of the finest universities in the nation, with Pitt, CMU, Duquesne, Chatham, Point Park. I'll say Slippery Rock because I'm an alumni of there.
That's okay.
We need to use those institutions to keep those bright minds here and not taking off. But when you have program or businesses that are threatening to leave or being pulled away by other towns like Cleveland, that doesn't do us any good. So we need some type of promise that the local government, county government, state government, federal government all know the power and the importance of Pittsburgh.
All right. Listen, Mayor, thank you always for your extra time after a long day. Keep up the great work in the classroom and out there on the campaign trail. And we're here. If you ever need anything, reach out, okay?
I appreciate your time, Rob. Thank you for having me.
Listen, they're all welcome here. Summer Lee, the mayor, anybody. Just call me. You can find me. I'd love to hear from all of you. These are matters that affect each and every one of us, and we've got to start seeing more results by putting more people back to work so the tax base can grow. And not just about roads and bridges, but the public education is our most important resource. And we have let that slip and slide away for decades. It's got to stop. We'll be back. Stay with us.